The metals markets have been on fire for months, but based on what I'm seeing, this is just the beginning. A new strategic initiative by the federal government is triggering what could be the biggest investment opportunity in this space in decades. Today, I'm going to show you what's happening, why it's important, and how to position your portfolio to profit. I'm also going to share my 3 favorite stocks that stand to benefit in a big way. Now, on Monday afternoon, the United States changed the rules of the global commodities game. Look, every phone you touch, every car you drive, every data center, factory, and power grid in this country depends on one thing most people never think about: metal. The U.S. government finally acknowledged that reality, and what they announced inside the Oval Office may end up being one of the most important industrial decisions of our lifetime. This was one of those moments that doesn't feel historic in real time. Then we realize the significance later in hindsight. The United States quietly signaled a once-in-a-generation shift in industrial policy. Now, a press release, a white paper, some far-left think tank proposal, a live announcement with cabinet officials, lawmakers, and the most powerful people in mining and manufacturing, laying the groundwork for something that will reshape global supply chains for decades. Now, last week I shot a video on this and the real reason why Trump is so adamant about acquiring Greenland. If you haven't watched it, go back and take a look, because all this is connected. It goes to the big picture goal of the administration over the next 3 years, and that's what's really going to help you position your investments properly. But in this meeting, President Trump unveiled a brand new strategic initiative to build a $12 billion U.S. critical minerals stockpile. The program is officially branded Project Vault. Now, first, let's put that in perspective. The entire global rare earth metals market was valued at roughly $4.13 billion in 2025. So a $12 billion investment is significant. It can reshape supply chains, secure massive reserves. And this is the first ever program like this designed not for weapons, but for industrial materials. And its mission is simple: protect American manufacturing from supply shocks and permanently reduce reliance on China for essential materials. Now, this is not hypothetical. It's not one of Trump's over-the-top pipe dreams. This is real money, real policy, real execution. And if you want to know who stands to profit from this initiative, watch the body language from billionaire mining entrepreneur Robert Friedland in the Oval Office. He looks like a kid in a candy store.
Thank you so much for what you've achieved. Everything we touch, we either grew it agriculturally and you've helped the farmers, or we mined it. All these cameras you see in front of you, they were mined. Every time you pick up a hand phone, it was mined. And so stimulating the ability for the miners in this country to help you industrialize the country, they're the salt of the earth, and we're super excited that America's doing something for not only our national security, but for the reindustrialization.
Now, this guy's a billionaire. He has a 10-acre oceanfront estate, 2 Beverly Hills mansions, a luxury flat in Singapore, a $50 million Gulfstream jet. He doesn't get excited easily. He's been around the block, as they say. He's lived through numerous commodity cycles, booms, busts, countless federal policy shifts, but what he saw Monday was something different. His words captured the gravity of the moment. You heard him. Everything we touch, we either grow or we mine it. Every camera has been mined. He said, you cannot reindustrialize this country. You can't rebuild Detroit without metal. And then the key line came. On behalf of every miner I know, they're elated at the breakthroughs that have been achieved here. Now, I could be wrong, but this to me doesn't sound like fake flattery. It's more like recognition. I believe he appreciates that the U.S. government has finally acknowledged the reality of this metal shortage, something we've been bringing your attention to for months on this channel. Now, the market reacted immediately. Ivanhoe Electric surged nearly 8% on the day. Almonte shot up 17%, almost instantly. Now, by the way, if you haven't signed up already, that $5 Black Ops special is still going on. Click the link in the description or go to tradewithross.com. You get an entire year of my service, live weekly mentoring sessions with me, my weekly newsletter, indicators, bonus reports, and a ton more. So click that link to get signed up. But let's break down the key components here of Project Vault. First is the structure. Because this is where the seriousness immediately shows. This is not a stimulus check. It's not some short-term subsidy. $10 billion will come from long-dated loans via the U.S. Export-Import Bank that they believe is going to be structured over about 15 years. Another $2 billion comes from the private sector. And look who's involved. Automakers, aerospace giants, technology leaders, General Motors, Stellantis, Boeing, Google. These companies are not donating money to build a ballroom. They're not soliciting favor. They are securing supply. So, what minerals are being targeted? Well, Project Vault isn't about everything. Only the most crucial minerals that matter most. Those that sit at the heart of modern civilization. Rare earth elements used in permanent magnets. Battery metals like lithium, nickel, and cobalt. Specialized materials critical to semiconductors. EVs, renewables, and advanced manufacturing. Folks, these are not optional inputs. There are no easy substitutes. You see, supply disruptions shut factories down. We learned this in 2020 following COVID, when chip shortages hit automobile manufacturers. It caused 9.5 million vehicles to go unbuilt. Laptops, TVs, even Xboxes couldn't be produced. Project Vault is about supply chain resilience. No more disruptions from geopolitics. And for decades, the U.S. has outsourced the upstream side of its economy. That's mining, processing, refining. China did not. And today, Beijing dominates large portions of the critical minerals value chain. Not by accident, by long-term strategy. And Project Vault is America's answer. By holding physical inventory, the U.S. reduces its exposure to export bans, to trade retaliation, and geopolitical coercion. It takes away the bargaining power of our enemies and ensures access to critical materials when they matter most. It is economic defense, and officials have been very clear. Project Vault is the Strategic Petroleum Reserve for manufacturing. The SPR wasn't about trading oil, it was about energy security. And Project Vault does the same thing, but for the materials that power EVs, chips, aircraft, and the modern grid. This plan gives direct support for reindustrialization. And this is where it gets really powerful. By acting as a buyer of last resort, Project Vault provides consistent demand, price stability, and financing confidence. These all directly support EV supply chains, semiconductor fabs, aerospace, defense production, energy storage, and renewables. This is how you rebuild industrial capacity without waiting for a crisis. And this makes for a structural shift in U.S. industrial policy. For the first time, the U.S. government is saying these minerals are not commodities. They are strategic assets. And by underwriting that demand, Project Vault reshapes capital allocation, risk perception, and project bankability. Mining projects that were once too risky now have a sovereign backstop, meaning the government is guaranteeing they're going to buy what comes out, and that changes things. Strategic oversight sits with the White House and National Security Council. Day-to-day administration runs the Department of Energy, coordinated with the Department of Defense. The administration is making it clear this is about national security, not economics. The Export-Import Bank provides financing. Private operators handle logistics and storage. So Washington sets the rules and the private sector executes. So how will these minerals be acquired? Well, Project Vault will source materials in three ways. Long-term offtake agreements, pre-purchase contracts that will be used to finance new mines and refineries, and price floor mechanisms designed to stabilize markets during downturns. In other words, there's a flash crash, they're going to buy, and support the price. So this is going to have an additional benefit of stabilizing the metals markets. Events like we saw last week in silver and copper and the big downturns, that's going to be greatly minimized. And so the government is set to prioritize U.S. and allied supply, even if it costs more than Chinese material. And this is, of course, very intentional. The goal here is resilience, not the cheapest ton. Now, the initial focus will be on priority minerals. Those are materials with high vulnerability, low substitutability, and maximum geopolitical leverage. So rare earth magnets, antimony, nickel, tungsten, lithium, rhenium, gallium, cobalt, copper, graphite, the list goes on. Now, I've been talking about this for months. It's why my portfolio is heavily weighted to precious and industrial metals. And so far, that bet has paid off handsomely. If you want the details, I laid out my entire retirement portfolio in this video. So go back and watch that. But here are my 3 stocks that stand to benefit from this $12 billion government commodity spending spree. Number 1, USA Rare Earth, ticker USAR. USAR is one of a very small handful of domestic rare earth miners. Last week, the Trump administration announced that Uncle Sam will be taking a 10% stake in the firm in a deal valued at $1.6 billion. Buying equity a week before this project is announced is a pretty clear sign they're going to get a big chunk of that business. The Department of Energy also holds a 5% stake in Lithium Americas, ticker LAC. The company's Thacker Pass lithium project in Nevada is one of the largest in the country, and this stock is an obvious play for those lithium reserves. Finally, Freeport-McMoRan, ticker FCX. Freeport is the largest domestic copper miner, and if they haven't already, it is only a matter of time before our tech giants inform President Trump that his dreams of AI dominance cannot happen without a massive supply of this red metal. The endgame here is simple: a self-sufficient critical mineral supply chain across the Americas. No single point of failure, no single dominant supplier, and Monday was a monumental day for U.S. mining, for manufacturing, and for supply chain independence. Project Vault sends a loud, unmistakable signal to the world. The United States is back in the resources game, and this time it's playing offense. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow this story. I'll show you how to take advantage of stocks and companies that will be big players in this historic move. And again, click the link in the description or go to tradewithross.com to get my $5 Black Ops special, an entire year of membership, live 1-hour weekly mentoring sessions with me every Monday, and our live session Thursday with my analyst, access to my indicators, weekly newsletter, bonus reports, and a ton more. So click the link, get signed up. It's just $5, and I'll see you in the next video.